देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमण्यव उतोत इषवे नमः नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुत ते नमः या त इषुः शिवतमा शिवं बभूव ते धनुः शिवा शरव्या या तव तया नो रुद्रमृळया या ते रुद्र शिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तया नस्तनुभाषन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिजाकशीः यामिषुं गिरिशन्तहस्तेभिभर्षस्तवे शिवाङ्गिरित्रतां गुरुमाहि गुंसीः पुरुषं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्चा वदामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगत यक्ष्मगुं सुमना असत् अद्य वोचदति वक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषक् अहिगुश्च सर्वा आञ्जम्बयन् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असौ यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुः सुमङ्गलः ये क्षेमागुं रुद्रा अभितो दिक्षु श्रिता सहस्रशो वै शागुं हेडयीमहे असौ यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं विश्वा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः उतैनं विश्वा भूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीढुषे अतो ये अस्य सत्त्वानो हन्तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरार्नियोज्याम् याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वपा अवतत्य धनुस्त्वगुं सहस्राक्षशतेषु धे निशीर्य शल्यानामुका शिवो नः सुमना भव विज्जन्दनुः कपर्दिनो विशल्यो बाणवागुम् उत अनेसन्नस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हेतिर्मीढुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधायानातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अतो य इषुधिस्तवारे अस्मन्निदेहितम् नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। शांति शांति।
शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
गजवदना गणनाथा नाथा गजवदना गणनाथा नाथा गौरीवरतनया गुणालया गौरीवरतनया गुणालया गजवदना गणनाथा नाथा विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक सिद्धिविनायक हे शुभदायक सिद्धिविनायक हे शुभदायक गजवदना गणनाथा नाथा गौरीवरतनया गुणालया गजवदना गणनाथा नाथा विद्यादायक बुद्धिप्रदायक सिद्धिविनायक हे शुभदायक सिद्धिविनायक हे शुभदायक गजवदना गणनाथा नाथा
परतीश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा
ईश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा
परतीश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा
ईश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा
भवसागरोदार भुवनावना
भवसागरोद्धार भुवनावना
भवसागरोदार भुवनावना
भवसागरोद्धार भुवनावना
शरणागत त्राण नारायणा
शरणागत त्राण नारायणा
शरणागत त्राण नारायणा
शरणागत त्राण नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा
परतीश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा
भवसागरोदार भुवनावना शरणागत त्राण नारायणा दया करो हरि नारायणा
दया करो हरि नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा साई
श्री साई नारायणा
श्री साई नारायणा
सत्य साईश्वरा
राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर राम सुमिर मन 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 जानकी वल्लभ दशरथ नंदन जानकी वल्लभ दशरथ नंदन जानकी वल्लभ दशरथ नंदन जानकी वल्लभ दशरथ नंदन रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री भज मन सीता राम राम भज मन सीता राम भज मन सीता राम राम भज मन सीता राम भज मन राधे श्याम श्याम भज मन राधे श्याम भज मन राधे श्याम श्याम भज मन राधे श्याम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर मन जानकी वल्लभ दशरथ नंदन जानकी वल्लभ दशरथ नंदन रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री रामचंद्र श्री भज मन सीता राम राम भज मन सीता राम भज मन सीता राम राम भज मन सीता राम भज मन राधे श्याम श्याम भज मन राधे श्याम भज मन राधे श्याम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम भज मन साई राम राम भज मन साई राम साई राम राम भज मन साई राम राम सुमिर मन राम सुमिर मन
देवी भवानी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ देवी भवानी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ देवी भवानी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ देवी भवानी माँ जय साई
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दय सिंधो रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दय सिंधो
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दय सिंधो
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दय सिंधो
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 रघुवीरा रणधीरा रघुनाथ जगन्नाथ रघुराम परंधामा मम बंधो दय सिंधो
दय सिंधो
रघुवीरा रणधीरा
रघुवीरा रणधीरा
रघुनाथ जगन्नाथ
रघुनाथ जगन्नाथ
मम बंधो दय सिंधो मम बंधो दय सिंधो
मम बंधो दय सिंधो
रघुवीरा रणधीरा रघुनाथ जगन्नाथ रघुराम परंधामा मम बंधो दय सिंधो
दय सिंधो
रघुवीरा रणधीरा
रणधीरा
रघुनाथ जगन्नाथ
जगन्नाथ
मम बंधो दय सिंधो मम बंधो दय सिंधो रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
असतो मा
सद्गमय
तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय।
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Sai Ram all, my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan Baba. Respected elders, brothers, sisters. Jai Sai Ram. So I'm kind of hoping we carry on the momentum, because I don't know if you noticed, the two garlands are swaying to the rhythm of our devotional singing. So let's keep up the good work this evening. For those of you who are new to Brother Amey, can I just have a show of hands who've never heard of Brother Amey Deshpande? Well, you're more famous than the king here, Brother Amey. They've all heard of you there. All right, so a little bit about Brother Amey. He studied at Swami's primary schools between 1990 to 1993. He was in the Bangalore Bhajan group and the Sevadar group. He did his Masters in Commerce at Bangalore University. In 2003, he did the MBA and finished with an MPhil in 2006. Finally did his PhD in Corporate Management Strategy in 2016. So what he currently does is a resident fellow at the Sri Sathya Sai Education Human Values School, where he does workshops, planning, and things to do with corporate management strategies. That's the formalities done. For those of you, let's be more informal. I don't know how many of you have seen his talks all this week on YouTube in different centers. They are simply amazing. So I think you're all going to be here for a great treat. So if we've got him for a whole hour, and then after the hour, we will wind down and there will be prasadam served. But I would take this opportunity to imbibe as much as what he has to say. He has a very eloquent way of portraying information. His self-deprecating way of handling things makes us feel he's not a Prashanti Bhajan singer. He is one of us. And as you will see, when he tells his stories, it resonates with us all. So I don't want to bore you with my voice. So let's just hear why we're all here for. A big hand to Brother Amey Deshpande. Jai Sai Ram.
एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नः Danno Dantih Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Sathya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Invoking the divine presence of our most beloved Master and offering our loving pranams at his lotus feet, and to the Swami seated in each and every one of your hearts, my loving pranams and sairams. At the outset, I take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you a very blessed, a holy and happy Ganesh Chaturthi that we just celebrated today and last evening. And just being in these holy premises feels like we are so close to him, isn't it? And being here on a Ganesh Chaturthi brings many, many thoughts to my mind, many occasions and incidences to my mind. And so let me start the moment I kind of stepped in and I went to the temple here. I was able to visualize, the Ganesha who invites us in Prashanti Nilayam. As soon as you enter through the Ganesh gate, you see him. And I often refer to him as the first public relations officer of Prashanti Nilayam. He is the original true blue PRO of Prashanti Nilayam, because every complaint that we have, all our cribbings and our cryings, we can go and tell him. And in fact, I have done it many times, to the extent that it would so happen. In fact, when I was in primary school, it would so happen that, after we finish in the evening darshan, I would meet my mother and my parents near the Ganesha temple. I'm sure for many of you, the Ganesha temple is the meeting point after every Kulwant hall session, right? It's often time, let's meet at Ganesha. Let's meet at Ganesha. We take it so unconsciously, but we forget what's happening. So I'll tell you what happens, and maybe next time your meeting points may change. Because I would meet my mother over there, and usually, we would hardly get a minute or two, and then before we kind of went off to the hostel. And I would often talk to my mother about things that were happening in school and things like that. And several times, Swami would come the next day in the mandir, and he will say, "Oh, this is happening to you." Okay, he would narrate exactly the things that I was telling my mother. So I used to wonder, how does he know this? Okay, and then I kind of, break the code, because I realized that it was probably Ganesha hearing whatever I was speaking, and going and reporting back to Swami. And so, from the next day, after 3-4 days, my meeting point changed. I would tell my mother, just come a little this side, out of the earshot of Lord Ganesha. Right? Because you don't want him to be hearing that. Right? So those are some of my, my earliest relationship building exercises with Lord Ganesha. To me, Lord Ganesha is like our elder brother. Right? We consider Swami as our mother and father. He is the son of Lord Shiva and Parvati. And therefore, in many ways, we are like, siblings. He's our brother. He's our elder brother. And so guess what? We are celebrating our elder brother's birthday today. And in many ways, there was, next to Swami, if there was one God who's kind of ubiquitous, who's omnipresent in Prashanti Nilayam, it is Lord Ganesha, right? Everywhere you go, including when you go to shopping, right? On your way to the shopping center in Prashanti Nilayam, you have the umbrella Ganesha. Almost like, he's ready to pick up your shopping bags as well. He's kind of in the walking, posture. So you will find Ganesha everywhere. And for we students, Ganesha was like our crisis manager, right? Especially the number of pradakshinas close to the examination time would increase like exponentially, right? Especially if you have not studied well in examinations, right? It would directly proportional to the amount of preparation you had to the examination. Like if you have not prepared at all, you better go at least 108 times, And so there are so many memories that come back. Let me just tell you just one more. Oftentimes, Swami would not speak to the students. He would be in this, we would always have this Cold War kind of situation between us and Swami. For some reason, something would disappoint Swami about our behavior. And, what he would do would be probably the most excruciating thing that one can do, and that is not speak. Sometimes, you just want the other person to yell at you and to be done with it, right? The worst kind of treatment is cold treatment, right? Where the other person doesn't say anything. And so oftentimes we would have almost every other year or maybe even every year, there would be one point of time where Swami would just stop talking to students, right? So imagine you're going there every evening hoping that Swami will come and speak to you and he will make it extremely direct, indirectly direct to know that, I don't want to even see your faces. Like, the moment he steps out of the interview room, his head will go. And he will stick himself to the walls of the mandir. Keep as much possible physical distance between us while he finishes the darshan and all of that. But we always knew that it was this day of Ganesh Chaturthi when the ice would be broken. Several years, Swami would come to the hostel. It was almost a given that on Ganesh Chaturthi day, he would come to the hostel and the ice between us would be broken. And good times would always, be ushered in. And so for me today, as I stand over here, this is my first Ganesh Chaturthi ever outside of Prashanti Nilayam. For the last 22 years, I have not missed a single Ganesh Chaturthi. But see how Swami works. Even this year, on Ganesh Chaturthi day, I happened to be standing in his Ganesha temple in London. Right? How incredible he makes it. So that's the deeper connection. And so a lot of memories kind of flood back to my mind as we stand on this most auspicious occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. Talking about Ganesha, there was one Swami Amrutananda who was a great disciple of Ramana Maharshi. And this happened roughly about 90 years ago. And as a child, before the age of 8, he had performed over 1,000 Ganapati Homams. And you know what is a Ganapati Homam? It's nothing much. It just takes about 30 to 35 minutes, right? It's basically Om Gam Ganapataye Namah Swaha. Basically, if you do that 108 times, it is considered to be one Ganapati Homam, right? Imagine he had done 1,000 of these. So every single day for roughly about 1,000 days, he had done this Ganapati Homam, right? His childhood got over. Eventually, he stayed with Ramana Maharshi, the great sage of Tiruvannamalai. He stayed with him for several years. And eventually, after Ramana Maharshi passed on, he attained his Samadhi. He was guided to Prashanti Nilayam. And so in the 1950s, he came to Prashanti. And the moment, of course, somebody told him that this is a great person. For him, it was always Ramana. Ramana, his guru, his master was always the most, kind of the highest position was always given to Ramana. But the moment he saw Swami, Swami looks at him and says, "Hey, Amrutam." Right? He calls him as Amrutam. His name was Swami Amrutananda. Swami calls him Amrutam. It was exactly the way Swami Ramana Maharshi used to call him. And so instantly he had found his Ramana once again. And so in one of the days that he was over there, of course, he spent years and years in Prashanti. One of the days, Swami was speaking to him and Swami said, "What did you do when you were small? Do you remember?" Mind you, by this time, he was 78 years old. right? He was 78 when he came to Swami. And Swami reminded him, what did you do when you were small, when you were 8 years old? And he said, I don't know, Swami, I don't remember. He said, do you remember you had done the Ganapati Homam? And he said, oh yes, Swami, I had done it. And he said, how many times did you do it? And so he said, Swami, I think I had done Sahasrarchana, that is 1,000 Ganapati Homams. And he said, so do you remember what is the Falashruti, that is what is the fruit you get of doing it 1,000 times? And he said, Swami, I have been told, the scriptures tell me that when you do 1,000 Ganapati Homams, Ganesha will appear from the fire, okay, and he will grant you some boon. And so then Swami says, so did it happen? And so he just looked at Swami and he just smiled. Now, what is to be said? It never quite happened the way as dramatically as it is generally mentioned in scriptures, In scriptures, very dramatic, from the fire and 3D image will come out and and probably with some beautiful tabla going on in the background and things like that, right? All that never happens usually. And so he said, he just looked at Swami, he smiled, he said, I don't know, I never experienced that. And then Swami said, I will give it to you today. Today has come the time when you shall get the fruit of your 1,000 Ganapati Homams. And he says, look carefully. And as he starts seeing Swami, from the top of Swami's, hair down to the bottom, the whole thing, the whole being of Swami is transformed into Ganesha. Right? A golden Ganapati standing in front of him. And at that moment, Swami says, as Ganapati, Swami says, I grant you this, right? This darshan is the fruit of your 1,000 homams, after which you will come to me. So, therefore, is Swami Ganapati? Is he Ganapati? Is he Ganesha? Is he Vinayaka? Probably yes. Let's move on to another story. Okay, so if you think that Swami is, so Swami is basically Ganapati Swarupa, let me tell you another incident that happened with one Mr. Chidambara Krishnan. And he had told this story directly to us. He has, of course, recorded it in Tamil in the media center. But some of the stories he had not mentioned. So he was somebody who was very close to Swami in the early 70s. And it was the time when Swami would travel quite a bit in Tamil Nadu and in Karnataka. In fact, not quite a bit, quite a lot Swami traveled. And so on one occasion, it so happened that Swami was in the Tirupati town, right? And he was along with Raja Reddy Garu, the singer, Kasturi Garu, Swami's biographer, and Chidambara Krishnan, who was the driver. So 4 of them were in Tirupati. And they were going to stay overnight. And so, Swami was in one room, they were all in another room. And they were discussing, should we go to the temple and have darshan of Balaji? Now, having come to Tirupati, how can you leave Tirupati without having Balaji's darshan, right? But who is going to tell Swami? How do we tell Swami that Swami, hang on, we know you're God, just be in this room. We'll just go see God and come back, right? And so as they were discussing, it seems, Swami walks into the room and says, what is the discussion going on? Okay, and so they say, Swami, and it seems, Chidambara Krishnan, this sir, he was like in form, like in the sense, he was, his equation with Swami was quite sweet and nice. And so he wanted, they all pushed him kind of, you tell Swami, you tell Swami. So he told Swami, if you permit, we will just, having come to Tirupati, we'll just go up to Tirumala, we'll have darshan and we will come back. Okay. Then Swami said, yeah, go. So they didn't think that it's going to be that easy. Okay. So Swami said, yeah, go and come. So they all go up, and the early morning first Aarti, they are in the sanctum sanctorum and they are standing over there. And Chidambara Krishnan, sir, he actually describes it. He says, Kasturi Garu was here and Raja Reddy Garu is here and I was standing behind them. Okay, and the Aarti starts and we are watching the Lord's Aarti and suddenly Kasturi Garu's head turns and Raja Reddy Garu's head turn and they both look at each other. Okay, and they're just looking at each other And then he, kind of Chidambara Krishnan, says to both of them, are you seeing what I am seeing? Okay, so they said, what are you seeing? He says, I'm able to see Swami standing over there. And he says, that's exactly what we are also able to see. Okay, so all three of them are able to see Swami standing in the place of Lord Venkateshwara. Okay, and the Aarti being done to Lord Venkateshwara. Okay, and so they look at each other, bow down, come back. And when they come back, Swami says, so how was darshan? Okay, and they say, Swami, Swami, we see you. But we go over there and we see you again in the sanctum sanctorum. And then Swami said, oh, you don't like this form? Okay, and then Swami very casually mentions, what to do? I am there everywhere. Right? So therefore is Swami Venkateshwara. Right? Yes and no. Yes, he is Sarvadevata Swarupa. Yes, he is the embodiment of every single form. And no, he is beyond every single embodiment, that of divinity as well. So he's Sarvadevata Swarupa and he's Sarvadevata Atita Swarupa also. Atita means beyond all the forms and names. Right? And it is not that, we need such experiences to remind ourselves. Because just imagine, as we stand in the precincts of such a holy, holy temple, think about what exactly happens. Many of you are coming from far distances, right? So what happens? Swami gives this example, isn't it? We walk into a temple, right? Usually if the temple is extremely crowded, like maybe Tirupati, right? Where usually it takes about 4 to 5 hours to get darshan. Right? And then you cram and you fight and you jostle and, tussle and then finally you get in. Right? And after all of these hours, okay, of standing in the line and having his darshan, finally when you go and stand opposite to the sanctum sanctorum, what happens? We close our eyes. No? How ironic, isn't it? Almost stupid. We have stood for hours on end to see God, and finally when we are in front of God, in the sanctum sanctorum, we close our eyes. You know why? Because he is beyond all forms. And more importantly, it is because he is not just out there, he is in here. We want to see him inside here. That is why we close our eyes. Right? So it is our daily experience. You walk into any temple and that is what happens. Right? That is the real reason why we should go to a temple. A temple is not meant to, usually we restrict God to a temple. Right? We kind of do our namaskarams there, come back, and we have been taught, and especially in this kind of a Western, this thing where we are taught, once a week just go to temple, and he is waiting over there to cancel all our sins, so that, next day we start with a fresh page, right? God, see you next week, like usually in these channels they say, agle hafte milenge, let's meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, we do that with God. Unfortunately, we do that with God. And you can imagine how frustrated God must be feeling. Right? I want to come with you. I want to be a part of your life. In fact, I don't want to be a part of your life. I want to be your center of your life. There's a very big difference, God being part of our life and God being the center of our lives. Right? When we say God is a part of our life, then yes, he comes once in a week. Right? We see him, we have his darshan, and we move on. But when God becomes the center of our life, everything that we do, right? And we don't have to do anything different. We just have to continue to do whatever we are doing, okay, and that revolves around him. In fact, the word him, H-I-M, we have an acronym in Prashanti Nilayam. Any student, if you ask, what is H-I-M? It stands for Hostel, Institute and Mandir. H-I-M. Because our lives literally revolve around hostel, institute and mandir. Hostel is where you stay, institute is where you study, mandir is where you pray. In each of our lives, no, HIM will stand for our homes, our houses, right? Our places of work, whatever you want to call it, maybe an institution, right? And the mandir, right? So our lives have to revolve around HIM. He is not a part of our life. He is the center of our life. And let me give you the story of one brother he had come from a little town in Odisha. He had come and joined our institute. And he did not even know good English, right? And so he would struggle in the first few weeks when he came to Prashanti in the college. He wouldn't understand anything that was going on. And he had nobody else to kind of confide in to tell how much he was struggling. Because everybody else was like, though he was an engineer, he said, I'm just not able to catch these concepts. I'm really struggling with understanding these concepts. And so he decided that he will go and confide into Lord Ganesha. There was Lord Ganesha at our hostel. So he's called our hostel Ganesha. So we have an hostel Ganesha, we have an institute Ganesha, we have a mandir Ganesha. I told you, he's omnipresent in Prashanti Nilayam. Right? So he went and he, kind of cried to the hostel Ganesha, saying, I'm not able to understand anything. And that too, especially for engineers, when they come into the field of, into management, their most fundamental foundations are shaken. Okay, because for the first time you start learning accountancy, and all the rules of accountancy are like bizarre. Credit the giver, debit the receiver. It all is very counterintuitive. So he used to really struggle. So he would just go there and he would pray to Hostel Ganesha saying, I'm not able to make head or tail of what is going on. And you know what? One morning he gets up and he's actually woken up by a pat on his, leg. And he opens his eyes to see that Ganesha is actually standing there. Right? And the Ganesha says, come on, get up. Okay, come on, take your brush, put the paste. And this brother, in fact, this was narrated in front of Swami, that this brother experienced for 40 days, okay, Ganesha traveling with him everywhere. Everywhere, wherever he was going, he would literally hold Ganesha's hand and walk to college. Ganesha would sit next to him in class and explain to him in Odia whatever he did not understand. And then he would walk with him to Mandir. Okay, and then he would leave him outside Kulwant Hall. Darshan gets over. By the time he steps out, he was actually able to experience Ganesha holding him throughout the day for about 40 days. So my question to him was, what happened after 40 days? Like, did he catch hold of okay, now you're, good to go. Let me catch hold of someone else. Right? But such are the tremendous experiences. Of course, all of this is just coming off my mind because it happens to be Ganesh Chaturthi. Let me tell you an incident which is very dear to my heart, which is very close to my heart, about this eyes closing. Right? So, in Prashanti Nilayam, for those of you who have gone, you would have seen that there is a bhajan hall. And in fact, looking at the altar over here, it is exactly like this. Of course, it's not it's golden over here, but in Prashanti it is silver, right? For those of you who have seen, it's roughly, I think, double the size of this hall, right? Not bigger than that, probably double the size of this hall. So obviously, when Swami would, until 2008, January, every day from 1950, so close to 58 years, every single day, Swami has come into that bhajan hall, right? And he has enjoyed bhajans. Now you can imagine when Swami is going to go inside, what is the clamor to come inside, right? You won't find even a square centimeter or nanometer worth of space, right? Everybody wants to get into the hall, right? And you will find all means of, to get into the hall. Even we bhajan boys, in fact, very rarely, it was in fact only after Swami's Samadhi that we actually would put the mic, in front of us. We got space. Otherwise the mic would be somewhere here because right in front of you is another guy. There's no place to even keep mic, So Jam-packed. Now imagine, I think there are roughly about 150 people here, right? So double this, maximum 300, right? With all the cramming in, it would probably make it about 450. In Prashanti, about 600 people would sit. Now you can imagine what is the condition of everyone, You almost, shrink in size after you kind of walk out of bhajan hall because it's just that jam-packed. So there was one professor who simply decided that I'm not going to get into that position, right? Clamoring and fighting and jostling for place. He decided I will sit outside. And what I will do is the moment I see Swami going into the bhajan hall, close my eyes and visualize Swami enjoying the bhajans in my mind's eye. Right? So, bhajan would start, he would close his eyes. And for those of you who have seen Swami enjoying bhajans, it is like a sight for gods. Right? It's such a beautiful sight to just see Swami enjoying bhajans. Right? The way he will move his hands and sway his, all of that. And so this sir would simply close his eyes and enjoy the Swami in his mind, his personal, private Swami, right? One-to-one. Now, on one evening, he did not realize that Swami had actually got up from the throne. He had come out, finished some work, and then came and stood right in front of him. So just imagine, this is the case, that he is enjoying Swami inside, and the Swami outside is standing in front of him. So, of course, there's nobody else to kind of tell, shh, kind of look there. So the moment the bhajan got over, he just kind of did his namaskar and he opened eyes and he sees Swami standing over there, right? Imagine how it would be, right? And so he just looks at Swami, and Swami ever so gently kind of just leans into him and says a beautiful statement. Swami says, "Andar ka Swami aur bahar ka Swami ek hi hai." The Swami inside of you and the Swami outside are one and the same. You see, the Swami outside has to come to reintroduce us to the Swami inside. For some strange reason, we have forgotten the Swami seated in our hearts, and that is why avatars and Sadgurus and masters have to come from time to time to reintroduce us to the master that we have forgotten. Right? If you consider it like that the Swami outside and the Swami inside are one and the same, that is why we actually close our eyes, isn't it? Because we want to connect to our private Swami. Right? We don't want to connect to this God who is somewhere at a distance. We want our own Swami. Yes or no? Yes. That is our connection. That is the Swami that is going to be the center of our lives. The Swami out there, the Swami over here, the Swami in the mandir, those are our part-time Swamis. But the Swami inside our heart is a permanent 24/7 hotline that we will always have. And that is what we have to strengthen. And all of these bhajans and all of the sadhana and all of the activities of the organization are only meant to strengthen our tie with our inner Swami. Right? And therefore, how do we build this connection? Remember one thing, because we are celebrating once again Ganesh Chaturthi, this is what comes to mind, is that, we have all of these festivals. And on these festivals, we will have elaborate pujas, right? And in these pujas, we have elaborate rituals. The rituals on their own mean nothing unless the spirit is added. You add spirit to ritual, what does it become? Spiritual, right? We are here to do a spiritual exercise, not a ritual exercise. And it is in fact to explain to us the inner significance of everything that we do that the avatar comes, the masters come from time to time. In fact, it is Swami, when we were discussing it this morning also, that probably this is one avatar who has broken every tradition. Usually ritual means, usually rituals are do's and don'ts. Right? Do this, else. You know? Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, else. Right? There's always an incentive. Like, for example, in most of the stotrams, even in, for example, in our Suprabhatam, what is the last stanza of the Suprabhatam? Whoever reads this, whoever chants this Suprabhatam will get this. Shivalokam avapnoti shivena sahamodate. Oftentimes, like Lingashtakam or, and you'll find this with all the stotrams. The last will be what is called Phala Shruti. If you chant this, then you will go over here. Right? If you don't chant this, God save you. Right? Yes, that is very good. That is very good for primary school students. Because primary school children understand only that. Right? They understand incentive, disincentive. You give them incentive, they will do something. You give them a disincentive, they will not do something. Right? In the spiritual path, we are all primary school children in that sense. Because if you are going to do the ritual only for the sake of that ritual, right, then we are like primary school children. For example, did you know that Vedas, till probably like this century, Vedas were never learned by sisters. Women never chanted Vedas. Women are not supposed to chant Vedas. So, you know what Swami comes? He comes and he says, you will chant. Let me see what can happen. He breaks tradition. Right? Every single tradition that has been given to us, of course, you see the supreme authority only can come and do that. Right? The authority from which all rituals come, only he can come and redefine rituals. Only he can come and redefine tradition. And look at everything. Swami has given us the inner significance of every ritual that we have. Right? Therefore, constantly when we are doing any ritual, let us try and get to the spirit of it and not just hang on to the outer skin, which is the exact things that we do. For example, do you know the coconut? We often break the coconut. And oftentimes the coconut is broken in front of God only to be used as coconut chutney later on. That's the idea. Correct? In fact, I don't know whether you know, but the coconut that is broken in Prashanti Nilayam, what happens to that? It goes to the South Indian canteen. Right? In a sense, you see how you see what is happening over here. We are offering something as Naivedyam. Right? We offer something to the Lord, and the Lord gives it back as Prasadam. Right? So this is a very beautiful cycle which we refer to as the PN cycle, the Prasadam Naivedyam cycle. Right? He only gives us the talent, right? Whether it is singing or chanting or playing or dancing or whatever we do. All the gifts that we have, the talents that we have are his prasadam to us. What should we do with it? We offer it back to him as Naivedyam. And what does he do? He blesses it and gives us back to us as prasadam. So this is a prasadam Naivedyam cycle, PN cycle we refer to it as. Right? Can we do this with every single thought, word and deed? Right? And especially if you see now what happens. Let us say, our least, what could be, give me a least favorite fruit. Tell me, which is your least favorite fruit? Let's ask a small. Any fruit. Apple? You don't like apple? Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. So imagine now, right? You don't like apples otherwise. But you go into a temple, okay, and the pujari does something, ting, 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 all that, and comes and gives you an apple. What do? Suddenly, right? You don't say, hey, not this one. Give me that one. Right? See, what is happening is a very deep thing that is happening. As much as it may sound hilarious, no? What is actually happening is, whatever is given to you, you are accepting it as prasadam. Right? And as much as you may like it or not like it, you just quietly put it into your mouth. Right? You will even swallow it because it is prasadam. This is what is called as a prasada bhavam. If this attitude of prasada bhavam can be implemented in our lives, that whatever we are getting constantly, what the world is giving to us is actually his prasadam to us. Every situation, every challenge, every person whom we are meeting is nothing but his prasadam to us. Right? What do? Swami, I accept it. And yes, I may not like it. It need not be my favorite. I will accept it as your prasadam. Right? This is the tremendous inner significance of prasadam. Right? So the coconut, coming back to the coconut. The coconut, you know what it stands for? It is actually stands for our head. The coconut, like, just like it has hair, this head also of ours has hair. And usually beauty is connected with hair. Right? For those of us who don't have, we understand it. Right? When it starts falling, you feel like the heavens are falling. Right? Because beauty is associated with, or hair is associated with beauty. Right? What do you do with the coconut? You pull out all the hair. Right? Because that is a symbol for us losing our body consciousness. Right? When you go to Tirupati, for example, no, they just shave off. It's not because he wants hair. It's because he's telling us, let me see whether you can give me your dearest thing. What you consider dear. Right? And so we pull off. Then what do? That coconut is bashed up. Right? With all its strength, it is broken. What does that symbolize? It is this ego. All our achievements, all our statuses and positions in the whatever we have got, right, in this world is all over here. What are we doing? We are going and bashing it up. Right? And we are offering that as an naivedyam to the Lord. And what does the pujari do? He gives us half of it back, saying that the rest of it is now consecrated by the Lord. Right? So you look at each and every ritual that we follow, and you will find tremendous amount of inner significance. And all of this has been told by Swami only to us. Right? Swami is the one who has taught us the inner significance of each and every ritual, and therefore, even if it is done, if we are able to do it with the full heart. Let me just give you one more. Typically whenever our Hindu rituals end, there is a sentence which is said, which goes something like, Papoham papa karmaham, papatma papa sambhava. How many of you have heard that? No, some of you have heard it. You know what it means? It means that I am a sinner. Oh Lord, I am a sinner. Please forgive me. Papoham, I am sin. Papoham, papa karmaham, I do sinful activities. Okay, papatma, myself is a sin. I have come from sin. Right? Papa sambhava, I have emerged from sin. What a negative. You know what? Swami removed that sentence for the pujas which are done in Prashanti Nilayam. And Swami replaced it by saying, Praptoham prapta karmaham, praptatma prapta sambhava, which is, you are a child of destiny, not of sin. Prapti is destiny. Okay? Swami said, when I am considering you as my child, when you are nothing but my embodiment, how can you call yourself a sinner? Right? We feel that we are sinners. No. We are the children of God. What a tremendously empowering moment, isn't it? How much it actually lifts our self-confidence to constantly otherwise think of ourselves as sinners. Not that we don't do sin. Right? But yeah, you know what? Swami, I don't want to do sin. I am driven to do sin. Right? Why? Because of prapti. Right? So when you look at each of these things that Swami has constantly taught us, it's a tremendously, incredible feeling that, oh Swami, what a master you are. What a compassionate master you are, that you have taught us the inner significance. Probably I will, end it with, what is the attitude therefore we must have? We were talking about building that connection, that inner connection with Swami. And we were talking about, about how rituals help us, and how, in whatever we do, can God become the center of our lives. Right? So this is about, maybe I'll tell you two instances. This, once again, I had narrated this over the last few days, but I think that it fits in over here. So this happened to me or to us when I was in primary school. So, we have received many, many things from Swami. In fact, if you come to Prashanti Nilayam, you will find number of sweets being distributed, every other day. And you will notice that there's no one sweet. Every sweet is different. We as students, we have got even watermelon as a sweet. Means the prasadam has been watermelon also. Okay. Means just imagine, not everybody getting one watermelon. Huh? Everyone getting one watermelon, each one. Imagine devotees walking out with watermelons in their hands. Right? So we have got everything from a berry, okay, a little berry to a watermelon. So I was in my primary school, and Swami had called all of us to give us something. So, we would receive towels and bed sheets and pillow covers and everything we have got. Right? So we were called to the Purna Chandra auditorium, and all of us were wondering what are we going to get today? And it was a bunch of toiletries. Right? Swami was giving away toiletries that day. And it was an assorted set of toiletries. So it had everything. It had like really expensive perfumes, like Calvin Klein and all those top brand perfumes. And also there were like soaps and, shaving gels and all of that. Right? And so Swami started distributing. And it was like almost, we felt it was random. In the sense, Swami was walking, we were all sitting. So as Swami is going, he's just picking up something and giving it to us. Right? So it feels like whatever is coming to his hand, randomly. Now, we are more interested in what we get, not who is giving it. Right? I am more interested in what I am going to get. And more interested than what I am going to get is what my friend has got. Correct, no? So, in those days, still now when I think about it, I feel so stupid, Like we won't be even looking at Swami. Swami we will see later. Let's see what we are getting. Right? So it'll be like, where is the hand going? It'll come, I got a Mysore sandal soap. Okay? For those of you who know, it's not a great brand. Okay? So I looked at it and I said, Mysore sandal. And then immediately my next thing was, what did my friend get? Okay? So I asked him, what you got? He lifted one really posh, like an perfume. And I was like, wow. Which is our usual attitude, right? So I got this. And like this, it was going on. So there are lots of negotiations and, discussions going on. Like, if you don't like it, I'll, exchange it. All of those things are going on over there. Now, we don't know Swami has actually finished the entire distribution. And quietly, he has gone and he has stood on the Purna Chandra stage. On the stage in Purna Chandra, he goes back and he stands on that. Right? And so he's just watching all of us. So it took a few seconds for us to know that, Swami has actually, he's waiting for us, So suddenly it was like, shh. So we look at Swami. Okay. And so Swami kind of shouted from there, Andariki vachinda means everybody has got something. So everybody had got something. So we all said, yes, Swami. Okay. And then comes the most beautiful statement, or probably the most, I would say, I don't know how to react to this because I remind myself every single day of this statement. You know what he said? Now boys, tell me who wants me. Okay? All he said was, now tell me who wants me. And there was pin drop silence, just like this. Okay? Swami just gently turned around and walked away. To me, this is symbolic of each one of our lives. Constantly, whatever we are getting as prasadam, we don't treat it as prasadam. Right? We are treating it as whatever, maybe my effort or etc., etc. So whether the job I get, the car I have, the house, the people who are there in my life, my position, my promotions, my demotions, everything is actually his prasadam. He's coming and giving us. What do? We keep comparing ourselves with others. You see, now often Swami would say, if you really liked the Mercedes car, right? We all like the Mercedes car, right? I'm hoping everybody over here. This is Europe. Sorry, before Brexit. We all like the Mercedes car. If you truly like the Mercedes car, we should have just been happy standing outside the showroom looking at the Mercedes car. But we are not happy. You know why? Because it is not the Mercedes which gives us joy. It is my ownership of the Mercedes which gives me joy. When I own a Mercedes, then it gives me joy. In fact, the same Mercedes becomes the cause of my biggest sorrow when I see it in my neighbor's house. If my neighbor were to bet or my friend were to buy that, no, how come he got it here? Same salary, same position. You see, we don't treat it as prasadam. Swami is giving different things according to what he wants. Our job is to accept it as prasadam and cherish it. Today, if someone were to come and give me, if Swami were to come and give me a Mysore sandal soap, it would be the greatest treasure of my life. I would never have bath after that. Just wanting to hold on to the soap, isn't it? Usually the things that we get from Swami, we would never use it. Because it has come from Swami. Can we look at everything like that? Because it is indeed true. But at the same time, remember and keep asking ourselves, the question that he is asking us is, when will you want me? Are the hand which has given you, if you ask for that hand itself, how great would that be? That would be the culmination of all our desires. Right? That is why it is said, seek that, seeking which you don't have to seek again. Ask for that, asking which you will never have to ask again. Receive that, receiving which you will never have to receive again. That is what he comes to do. That is what our Swami comes to do. Right? He is telling, ask for me. I am the one who is giving you everything. So can we keep this slowly but surely, can we build, this thought in our mind that whatever I'm getting, right? So if it's on a Monday morning, if it's a busy traffic and I'm stuck in traffic, Swami's prasadam. If I don't find my parking place, Swami's prasadam. If I find a parking place, even more Swami's prasadam. Right? Imagine everything will simply become Swami's prasadam. And you know what happens after that? I will just end it with this incident. Once again, I have narrated it many times, but I never am tired of narrating it. We used to have what is called Grama Seva. Grama Seva is village seva. So, Swami would send all the students into villages to serve the people, in the villages. And typically we would start in the morning and we'll be back by afternoon. And so this happened many years ago. I was not a student then, but some of the brothers who were there, they told me about this. That once they had gone to to a particular village, it is called Janakampalli, which is very close to Puttaparthi. In fact, it is considered to be the hometown of Mother Ishwaramma. So it's like just about 15-20 minutes from Prashanti. So the brothers had gone over there. They finished their seva, came back in the evening, and they're all sitting for darshan. And Swami walks up to them and says, which village did you go to? So they said, Swami, we went to Janakampalli. And Swami said, oh, Janakampalli. Then you must have met Radhamma. Radhamma? Who's Radhamma? Boys don't know who's Radhamma. Right? There are so many people we have met. We have not asked their names. Right? Then, so they were all blinking at Swami. And then Swami starts to tell exactly where Radhamma's house is. When you enter into the village, that first right turn which you take, Swami is telling the directions. So they were they were not able to recollect who exactly, which right turn, etc. Then they remembered, Swami tells, that lady, when you went over there, she gave you, a ragi mudda ball. It's a millet ball, which is typically found in that part of the country, that is in Prashanti. In fact, Swami would also have ragi. It's a kind of millet. So it seems when these brothers had gone there, when they went to give Swami's prasadam, there was this village lady who had come and given them something back, as prasadam. So, when it comes to hunger, we remember everything. Like what food and all we ate, we remember. So, yes, Swami, correct. That lady, yes. She had given us that. The Swami said, that lady, no, she is Radhamma. Okay. Then Swami says, Radhamma is, do you know what does she do? No, Swami. she is a midwife. You know who is a midwife? So in villages, they don't have access to, public health services. So there'll be somebody who will help with the delivery of ladies. So this Radhama's job is, one of her jobs is being a midwife. So Swami says she is a midwife. Okay. And then Swami makes one statement. She says, he doesn't stop it there. Swami says, Radhama is the world's best midwife. Okay. Amazing, no? To get a certificate from God. Okay. And Swami doesn't stop there. Swami says, there are thousands of gynecologists and pediatricians in the world. Radhama is better than all of them. My God. Then Swami says, there are thousands of nurses in the world. Radhama is better than all of them. This is just, everybody's like, okay, we get the point. Right? Like she is the best, yes. And then Swami asks, do you know why she is the best? No, Swami. And then Swami says, because she is the best, because before entering into any labor room, just before entering into the labor room, she closes her eyes and she says, Swami, you conduct this delivery through me. And the moment she prays, I enter into her. And once I take over something, it has to be the best. Right? The moment I take over, it has to be the best. Therefore, she is the best. Dear brothers and sisters, this is not just Radhama being best. It is an opportunity for each and every one of us to be the best at whatever we do. However, the formula is, let him do it. The moment we think we are going to do it, then we may be the best or we may not be the best. But once we make him do it, it has to be the best. So in everything that we do, whether it is cooking at home, whether it is doing our laundry, whether it is driving to work, whether it's our work, at whatever level we may be in society, right? Swami is not looking at the worth of that work. He is looking at who and with what attitude that work is being done. When that happens, you know what happens? Swami says work becomes worship. Then whatever we do, we don't have to come to a temple. We don't need a festival per se to worship God. Every single day of our life becomes worship. How incredible. Every single day then becomes a festival because we are worshipping the Lord every day. Right? So, how do we make a Ganesh Chaturthi every single day in our lives? Right? By simply letting the Lord do everything for us. And you know what? He is most willing to do that. He is waiting for us to kind of hand over everything to him. Somehow we only think, I'm just reminded of one last thing. There is this, the prayer of surrender, right? In which it is said that don't be like a patient who comes and tells the doctor what he wants. Oftentimes we go to the doctor and, usually we non-medical people, we are culprits. We are often, what we do, we will see our symptoms and then we will go to Google and we'll put our symptoms in Google. Okay, and WebMD will tell us, I think mostly you're having this. Then we go to a doctor and say, doctor, I think I'm having this. So the doctor will say, okay, you have understood your disease. You have diagnosed it. What do you want me to do? Just give me this medicine. We also usually tell him the medicine also. Swami is saying, don't be like that. Don't be like that. You have come to me now. Now allow me to diagnose. I am the best in the business. Right? And having diagnosed it, I am giving you a specific medicine. Follow the regimen of the medicine. Any medicine has two things. Right? What are the two things in a medicine whenever it's given to us? Frequency and diet. Correct? Any medicine has got frequency and diet. The doctor will tell, take it 15.5 minutes before food, 17.25 minutes after food. And somehow I don't understand those things. I'm just adding the quarter bit and all. Okay, for all the doctors over here, my humble pranams to you. But usually it is like that, right? They'll say, no, take it after food. then let the stomach be half empty, and then you take it as if, I can measure my stomach over here. But, so for them, very, very important is the timing, right? And they will tell you the diet, right? Similarly, Swami refers to this as Pathyam and Aushadam. So the Aushadam has a Pathyam and an Aushadam frequency, okay, and a diet which is associated. If you don't follow those, the medicine won't be effective. Right? Oftentimes we feel that, I am doing bhajans for so many years. 30 years, 40 years I'm doing bhajans. I am where I am only. Nothing is happening. Why? Because we are not following the other two. We are taking the medicine, but not the way it is supposed to be taken. Right? So we eat whatever we want and then we expect the medicine to be effective. How is that possible? Right? So we are taking the medicine of the Lord's name. Let me probably end it with just this. Oftentimes, I used to wonder as a teenager or probably like 20 years ago, that, Mirabai chants Giridhara Nagar and she goes into raptures of ecstasy. Guru Nanak chants the Lord's name Ek Onkar, he goes into raptures of ecstasy. Tukaram chants the Lord's name and he goes into... I chant and nothing happens. Nothing happens to me. I also sing Giridhara Nagar, so many bhajans I have sung. Nothing is happening to me. Which means, it is not about the name. The name is not powerful, the devotee is powerful. Because the name, if it was powerful, it should have had similar kind of impact on everybody, isn't it? You chanting Govinda or I chanting Govinda, if Govinda itself was powerful, then it should have worked on you exactly the way it works on me. Which means the name is not powerful. Okay, this is what I thought. Until Swami gives in a discourse, he gives the exact problem. In fact, in the discourse he said, some people think that God's name is not powerful. Okay. And then he says, see, on a diseased, in the discourse he explains, on a diseased tongue, even if you put gulab jamun, no, it doesn't taste. A person who has got jaundice, okay, or who has got fever, right? Even if you put the sweetest thing on their mouth, the mouth doesn't taste anything, isn't it? We lose our taste. Does it mean that the gulab jamun is not tasty? The gulab jamun is definitely tasty. Your problem is with you, man. You have got disease. So he's telling us, oh man, you are having disease. Okay, thank you, Swami. Thank you for diagnosing this. So what should I do now? He said, take medicine. The beauty of this is, both the Aushadam, right? The same name is first the medicine and then it becomes Amrutam. So the Nama is Aushadam and Amrutam. The same name that we are taking, at beginning, it cures us of our problems. And the moment it cures us, the next time we will take the name, we will also go into raptures of ecstasy. That is what happens with those masters. Right? With every of those masters, they have constantly kept at it, taking the medicine, right? And the moment the disease was warded off, right, the name starts to feel. So we don't have to worry. We just have to keep doing it over and over, again and again, with that particular frequency and that particular diet. And what is the diet? Swami says selfless action is the diet for it. Why is the name not effective? Because our action is not selfless. So let us pray on this most auspicious occasion of Ganesha, our elder brother, as we refer to him, that, oh Lord, you have given us everything. Just help us now with this medication that we are supposed to take, so that we will be able to enjoy your presence in our life. You become the center of our lives. You become the thinker of our thoughts. You become the doer of our deeds. You become the speaker of our words. This is our prayer to you. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, brother,
for a wonderful speech on the significance of Ganesh Chaturthi, including reminding us about the significance of Lord Ganesha and the importance of building our lives around him in your usual jovial way. On behalf of Region 1, Merton Sai Centre and the Sai Mandir, we'd like to give you a small gift. Please can I ask our Region 1 President Deshpande to come up and give a present to Brother Amey.
ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायणतु पुरुषोत्तमगुरुतु सिद्धबुद्धतु सन्तविनायक सविता पावगतु सविता पावगतु ब्रह्ममस्तु यहुवशक्तिदु ईशु पिता प्रभुतु रुद्रविष्णुतु रामकृष्णतु रहीमता होतु रहीमता होतु वासुदेव गोविश्वरूपतु चिदानन्द हरितो आर्ति देयतु अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु आत्मलिङ्ग शिवतु
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे
भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपदे स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपदे आश्रित कल्पलगीत आश्रित कल्पलगीत आगताण्डव ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेव मरियं कयुनीवे स्वामी मरियं कयुनीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ॐ शान्ति परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थैशार्थमोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थैष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि मङ्गलं गुरुदेवाय मङ्गलं ज्ञानदायिने मङ्गलं प्रतिवासाय मङ्गलं सत्यसायिने शान्ति 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 समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Jai Sai Ram, everyone. Just one final, very quick announcement. Please take Vibhuti Prasad on the way out, and there is food, dinner in the outside hall as well. Please join us for food outside. And one more announcement. We announced at the National Retreat. We are very fortunate to have Swami's blessings to have another national pilgrimage to Puttaparthi next year, and the dates have now been confirmed. 28th of July to the 3rd of August. So please bear those dates in mind for next year. And also there will be a medical camp to Nepal in March of next year. Again, the dates for that will be confirmed, but it's likely to be towards the end of March. So please bear those dates in mind for next year to celebrate Swami's centenary. We are blessed to have these opportunities, and we're also blessed to have listened to Brother Amey today. And thank you all for coming today. Jai Sai Ram.
ॐ